Let's do it. Largest ever scammer arrest. Chat, you're a bunch of scammers. You're getting arrested.
Last year, an insider infiltrated a pig butchering scam in Dubai.
Oh my god, I forgot what pig butchering means. It sounds so brutal and metal, man. Isn't that when they like catfish a bunch of men as and it's real women?
But little did I know that the video I'd produce on this would result in the largest arrest of scammers in any one location in the world. The people sitting on the ground here with their arms in cable ties are 2,000 plus scammers.
Oh my god.
This footage was taken from a neighbouring building at the
Chat, that's all of you sitting together, bro.
Abba residences where they
work.
Scammers? The group here in their underwear are the ringleaders. These are...
Why are they in their underwear? Wait, what? Why are they in their undies?
The Chinese gang members who set up the call center to target almost every country you can imagine.
What?
The raid was so large it required a huge number of resources. Not only were the police involved, but there needed to be ambulances, very many buses, and medical staff around. The majority of the scammers were from North Africa or Asia, and very many of them were deported straight after this raid.
Wow.
Yep, that's them. You're probably wondering how they got into this situation.
I wonder how.
Let me explain.
Aliens? Yeah, they're not aliens,
Last year, a man who calls himself Beard reached out to me and said that he was working in a scam operation in Dubai. He had no idea before he arrived that he was going to be part of a scam, but of course, whenever he was given photographs of a glamorous lady and told to pretend to be her, he immediately got suspicious. His job was initially to speak to people on dating apps and move them quickly to WhatsApp or Telegram.
Yeah, because it's unmoderated. That's smart.
The trust with his victim, he was supposed to hand them over to the Chinese gang, who would then persuade the victims to invest in what would be a fake cryptocurrency platform. If you want to see the original video, there's a link here. And
I love that it's called a fake cryptocurrency. Specifically fake.
In the description.
Oh, we watched this one, this exact one. Oh, it's a follow-up.
Beard was told that it was a very simple copy and paste job.
Bro, in the copy paste, they provide you
lots
of numbers.
This is awesome.
And you chat with the customer, and you just need to ask the name and age. After that, you need to transfer to another department. That's it. This is the copy paste job. It's very easy.
And indeed it was a very simple job if you could overlook the fact that you're scamming people out of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Once he'd built up trust with the victims, he would then pass them on to the second part of the scam, which was run by the Chinese gangs.
Buy my Smug coin.
They would encourage the victims to invest in what would turn out to be a fake crypto investment platform, one which would show plenty of profits, but of course the victims could never withdraw this. But the most shocking thing of all of this was the scale of their operation. They had at least 4 buildings in use and almost...
Wow, those are some nice looking buildings too, holy! How do these people live with themselves? Because they can't attach a face to a person, they don't feel as bad for scamming them. Basically. Yeah.
Everyone around was involved in some way. The buildings themselves were well outside the centre of Dubai and they could literally see the police coming for miles.
Wow!
And there were so many cell phones in use that they needed a separate mobile communications van outside the main residences.
That's mafia shit right there.
And the operation left nothing to chance. Thanks to Beard, I had some good footage inside the buildings, but only when they had been vacated was the scale really apparent. With 2 to 4 people per room, 50 rooms per floor, and at least 8 floors in 4 buildings, you can imagine the number of people involved. At first, I had no idea of the exact number, but the arrests amounted to over 2,000.
Wow, probably more
Many hundreds of computers, monitors, and IT equipment was seized. This particular footage comes from a different insider who was on a task scam in Ajman. But to cope with the needs of over 2,000 people, they needed more than just computers. In fact, when the buildings were raided, they uncovered an entire mini hospital. There was...
What? Wait, they actually kind of took care of their own, huh?
It's an internal doctor's surgery complete with blood monitoring machines and an entire chemist's shop.
I mean, I don't know, man. That's kind of more care than most places, huh? Yeah, it's like a little mini hospital, man.
Just for the people working in the buildings. When
That's
the Chinese gangs
work.
operate scams at this...
It's probably black market. No, of course it is, chat. No, I totally get it. It's not a real hospital, but like they were like, all right, guys, you're feeling bad, here's some drugs.
Of scale, often keeping people within the buildings, you can understand why they need this sort of infrastructure.
Yeah.
But perhaps most shocking of all was the way that the scammers persuaded their victims that they were real.
Oh my god.
So if there was any doubt in the victim's mind, then they would offer a video call. And that's because the models resided with the scammers and would frequently make those sort of calls face to face with victims.
Nice to see you. I will message you WhatsApp. Okay? Okay, thank you. Bye-bye, gracias.
By the time it came to the police raids, this particular model, who called herself Annelle, had actually moved to a different location.
Oh
and that's because there were at least 5 different buildings running various sorts of scams, including both romance scams and task scams. If you haven't heard of the task scam before, I'll be covering it in a future video.
AI is gonna make this shit real scary. Dude, actually though, because then it doesn't matter if the chick's sleeping or not. Right? Like maybe she's out like getting like groceries or something or eating food and then they're like, guys, hurry up, I'm gonna lose this scam, and then boom, they get the AI.
And that's why if you run a business, you have to stay one step ahead of scammers and hackers. I've teamed up with the sponsor of this video, ThreatLocker, to offer you business product that can help combat scams and hacks. ThreatLocker will automatically block anything which is untrusted and will limit your business to only what is needed. So your normal business applications will be whitelisted using their learning mode. And then if anything unusual happens, like someone accessing this fake bank website...
Chat, you laugh at this, but some boomers unironically need this shit. This isn't a terrible idea.
The suspicious software will be blocked by default.
I don't think this is a bad idea.
Can even decide whether to ring fence any suspicious applications. That could mean preventing its internet access, restricting access to a registry, or any other file on the computer. So if you would like to check out ThreatLocker, you can do this for free by using my link, threatlocker.com/JimBrowning. It's also in the description. Now back to the video. Even though I was only aware of 1 or 2 buildings because of the insiders, the police obviously had intelligence that led them to other locations. Locations like Ajaman, Ras Al Khaimah, and smaller residential buildings. It seems that the Chinese gangs rented various apartments, villas, and large buildings to run the scams.
Mafia W, I guess.
In one such area, called Yasmin Village, almost every building was being used for some sort of scam.
Wow.
In fact, after the second set of raids in this area, almost every building was entirely vacated. And because I can see the rental prices for these sorts of apartments, I know that it would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars for just this one area alone.
Wow.
But that wouldn't have been a problem for these crime gangs. I'm told that the police managed to seize over 70 million dirham. That's
$20 million, chat! I need some men. I need some men, man. We need to set up in Dubai. We're gonna do a pig butchering scam.
About $20 million US. But even better, they were able to track down the boss. He wasn't in one of the buildings which was occupied by the main scam groups, but instead he was in a hideout well away from the other buildings. And the boss wasn't deported, but I believe he's in a jail somewhere in UAE. And after the success of the Rahaba residences, the raids just kept on coming. This raid happened in Ajaman, just to the north of Dubai.
You don't fuck around with Dubai authorities, to be fair. Yeah,
just
don't fuck
like
around.
Rahaba, the majority of the people who were caught up seemed to be from North Africa or East Asia. I'm told that the vast majority of the people who were involved in the scam were deported back to their country of origin. Here, over 1,000 people were arrested, and you can see them being bussed away.
Oh my god,
but
look at them.
strangely, there haven't been any press releases. Most of my information has come from online videos capturing these raids.
I bet you it's because they don't want people to know about all the other stuff that they might have to be doing. Yeah, they don't want... that's a common tactic for raiding and, like, trying to uncover operations like this. There's multiple, and they don't want this to be, like, public press, because then those people are like, oh, shit. This is confirmed. It's happening, like, a town away. We're next. And then they run away.
In fact, when I released last year's video, there was initially no response from the police. However, around 12 weeks after the release of that video, I started to hear about the raids.
Look at them naked, it's so funny,
my video, at least in part, played a role. But if I'm getting these reports secondhand, how can I be sure that these videos were actually the call centres that I had seen? Well, if you look carefully at the road markings and the side of the building here, I can tell from Google Earth that this is the bus parking at the back of the buildings.
Oh my god!
Likewise in Azaman, the building...
Dude, that's crazy. He's confirming it for himself. He's like, I did this.
Name
that's
is clearly
good.
Visible. I also still had access to some of the WhatsApp and Telegram groups used by the scammers, and that's where I picked up this little gem.
Let me just drop this message here, guys. If you know you're doing Chinese work, please resign. Forget about your salary. Take your passport and leave now. Resign. They are raiding everywhere. They raided everywhere, and they brought us to the desert. We are in the middle of the desert. I'm talking to you in Abu Dhabi. We don't even know the location in Abu Dhabi. They came to dump us in an abandoned building. The building is not even ready.
He's ratting, dude. He's ratting.
We are still inside the vehicle. No food, no water. The rubber they used to tie our hands is paining us. People are in agony, using guns to beat us. It is crazy.
Holy mafia shit.
This. If you know you're on overstay, just better get your ticket and leave UAE now. Get your outpass and leave UAE now.
He's ratting, chat.
It's really, really crazy. Anytime I have opportunity again to use any phone or to reach you guys, I'm going to try to talk to you guys. Okay? Everybody that they raided from Sharjah, from Dubai, from Juman, Emirates City, everywhere. They brought them to this place. There are about 50 boxes. 50 luxurious buses with more than 2,000 people. I cannot make...
Yep, that sounded pretty rough, alright, but not as rough as having your entire life savings taken away from a fake investment.
True.
But I also had some
Bozo skill issue.
First-hand accounts of people who were actually deported. This is an email from someone called John, who was a Ugandan and had worked in the Rahaba residences. He sent me this email about a month after he was deported, and I'm thinking he was trying to get me to send him some money.
Please, I need help. Please, chat, I need help.
Claimed that over 3,000 people were deported, but I think
I'm a scammer. I got caught, but I need money. Please, I'm not gonna scam you again.
Here is closer to 2,000. He claimed that the majority of people working there were either Chinese, Malaysian, Ugandan, Rwandan, Pakistani, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Kenyan, Sri Lankan or Russian.
That tracks.
And when they were deported, they were given absolutely nothing. No phones, wallets or cash. Their bank accounts were seized, and they didn't even have shoes to go back in. They were barefoot.
Oh my god.
And of course, I normally have sympathy for someone who travelled abroad to get a better job, but when you're involved in stealing money from other people, you lose all of my sympathy.
True.
John claimed that he was a cleaner there, but I know for a fact that the people who were not involved were let go. Only the people actively involved in scams.
Please feel bad for me. Please send me money.
Were actually deported.
Yep.
And when you work in a scam call centre like this one, your basic salary is barely enough to live on. You have to make sure you steal from other people. So this is a fantastic result for the police in Dubai. I haven't heard of any other country carrying out this number of raids in such a quick period of time, and because of this, Dubai is now seen as a no-go area for these sorts of scams. With a concerted effort and real action on the ground, this problem can be reduced or eliminated. If only the same sort of action could be undertaken in other countries which host pig butchering and task scams.
I've had a lot of friends in the Philippines say that telemarketing scams and stuff like that are very common.
Thinking particularly of the ones in Cambodia, Thailand, and especially Myanmar. Myanmar in particular hosts very large and notorious scam camps. I have been contacted by a number of individuals who have confirmed are working in KK Park, the best known of these
KK
parks. The majority of people working here have been human trafficked to these camps, have their passports stolen, and are forced into this labour.
Yeah.
This is scamming on a...
Chat, you could have it so much worse, unironically. Yeah, man. You could have it so much worse. Being kidnapped and basically sold into slavery.
Industrial scale.
That's horrible.
As the military have overthrown the government, trying to get police to do something here is next to impossible.
Yeah.
However, the nearby Thai authorities are attempting to do something about these parks. They have recently, for example, cut off their electric supply. And it looks like some of the people who work in those parks are being handed over to authorities in the neighbouring Thailand. Let's hope that this is the beginning of a crackdown on these scam parks. So sometimes it is possible for a YouTube video to make a difference on scams. I always intended this channel to highlight and educate people about scams, but sometimes if the authorities can act on the information, it can lead to much bigger things.
I always wondered if Jim Browning actually made a dent in his stuff, because I remember seeing his stuff back like in 2012 and 10. I probably have it on my old account where I favorited a bunch of stuff, and I remember showing the videos to my parents because they were skeptical of like scammers and stuff, and it like actually educated them.
If you would like to support me in my quest against scammers, there's a few ways you can do this. Firstly, if you're not already subscribed, do hit that subscribe and bell icon. Hitting the like button is your way of recommending these videos to other people on YouTube. YouTube will sometimes not monetize these videos, so you can support me on Patreon. There's a link here and it's in the description. Alternatively, coffee keeps me going, so if you'd like to buy me a coffee, there's a link to do just that. My other socials are Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn, so follow me there too.
They send him death threats, by the way.
Thanks for all your support, and see you on the next one.
Yeah, go check him out. He's been doing this for like probably 15 years. Let me check. Yeah, I thought it was like 10 years. Yeah, I remember seeing his stuff in like 2013, maybe 14. Super cool.